To start off, I'd like to ask you this first question. What do you do for a living?
My occupation is a personal trainer, and I'm working under a setting that combines physiotherapy and also personal training. Yeah.
Personal trainer. That's very interesting job occupation. Why do you end up there? Do you study anything related to exercise or physical health?
Study for degree wise, I didn't do anything related to sports and health or exercise. I actually did polymer engineering back then because that was what I was given during STPM. So that time I also was thinking, should I actually choose sports because I was actually interested in it. But then when I actually put more thoughts into it, it's already past the interview period for the sport intake lah. Uh, and then later on, I actually kickstarted in my work in the field of engineering. Then from there onwards, every day I go back and then I do my exercise. And then, yeah, just one day I decided to take certification in personal training. So that was the beginning lah, of how I actually study things that related to health and sport. Initially, it was just for me to learn it and to understand how to really exercise properly. Yes.
It's a very interesting switch from a polymer engineering is like a science that you study all the polymer molecules and how it works out, and you transform to a personal trainer to help others in their health. Is there any reason between of this transition?
Um, I think firstly is because uh, I did feel that engineering it seems like a stable path. Um, and then my interest of learning about sports and wellness to actually take the certification, I need some saving as well. So I might as well took up a formal job. And then I actually got that job before I graduate lah. So I was handing out my resume in one of the career fair in my uni that time. Then I got the offer already, so just go with it. Uh, then after saving up money, I decided to take the certification, but I didn't actually jump in straight away into that industry. Actually, I think it took 1 to 1.5 years to just contemplate about whether should I try it or not, because that time happened to have COVID. Yeah, so I had a lot of time to do my reflection. And during that period of time, although I worked in that NNC, but there was some restructuring and plan. And as I was just kickstarted as a fresh grade in that job, and just a little potato inside, I don't get to have much. I don't see I get to have much control over the future path. So I actually don't see myself long term in that career. Then also because of I think to actually survive in corporate, it really takes another skill set. I back then I didn't have that kind of skill set, soft skill to actually work it out in corporate.
I think your story is pretty encouraging in the sense that you just started off as a fresh grad in the MNC and you just work for a few years and you find that your passion is still in sports and you took the courage to dive into the sports by taking up extra certification just for that switch. And I believe it was not easy for this switch of job transition. What were the challenges that you undergo through this journey?
Um, the challenges is back then when I was preparing to do this transition, it was still in the time of COVID. So a lot of gym actually closing down that time because people have to be quarantined at home and they don't really get to go to the gym. Then the gym revenue is slowing down and a lot of them are closing. So it seems like not a very stable path. But then also I feel that I cannot belong into my initial path. Didn't really work it out every day. I just feel like I'm I'm doing the things that I'm like just showing up to work only back then that time lah. And once I actually got the certification, whenever I go into a meeting room, my mind actually switch off to, oh, I seeing like different people's coming in, different working colleagues with different body posture and all that. So once I actually got the skill of assessing it, suddenly in my mind, when I was sitting in the meeting, I was thinking, if I'm a trainer, how can I actually help these people's change their fitness level so that they can actually have a more healthier body. But then to back to the challenge transition wise, I was in engineering line to actually go to sports and wellness. It requires me to find my own clients, because if one has no student or client, you can't actually call yourself a trainer. When in engineering time, people just hand in the work documents for me to do, and I get the pay. But to change to sport and wellness, fitness, I will need to be more proactive, leveling up my communication skill, learn really how to marketing, finding out people pain points and all that to acquire clients. So that was the challenge. Aside from that, from stable pay to not so stable pay, because clients number will kind of fluctuate, especially in the beginning. When I just started off as a trainer, I did not have a understanding of how to retain someone, how to use a proper plan. The plan that I learned from certification, it is book based, but coming to see human wise, human want a different thing. I cannot use back the textbook science to convince a person, hey, you should train with me this long. That doesn't work. So become unstable. Pay cut is one. Another one more thing would be peers and friends allow me, because I'm doing different things, and it is not, I would say it is still not considered a conventional path. Especially with family that is more traditional, they feel that, oh, doing an engineering job is much more stable, that I myself go and acquire clients and build my own path. Yeah, there will be these three.
I think you spell a very important point that despite all these challenges, right, you still stick on to your passion and go for it. You mentioned there were three challenges that you faced, especially the pay cut. Pay cut is definitely a very big sacrifice, I would say. I would not be like you, so daring just to quit my job and then pursue something that is unconventional. Like your peers are doing, perhaps they are doing well in as an engineering. People look up to engineers instead of like maybe personal trainer who is not so popular right now. Even right now, not many people would pursue this path, but you boldly go to this step. And of course, the last one was the family. How do you convince them? How do you overcome all these three challenges and become who you are right now?
I think the path to overcome these three is to really stay curious and be open to learning. Be willing to really acknowledge, oh, I am actually have to start from zero. Um, so for the pay cut wise, I think it really takes time for me. I would say at least 1.5 years to 2 years time to have a stable base of client. And then the rest is learning about how to actually deliver great results so that my clients will refer more people to me. So there's one thing to manage my own pay cuts. And then, also, of course, our industry also kind of have a seasonal factor. So when there is like year-end period, holiday season, people will not be coming to train. And I have to convince them to adhere to the training plan. So that's one thing. the skill of really communicate well with people and let them understand what is the consequences, the pros and cons of their actions. And then family resistant. Yes, I think there always is. Even someone who study sports science background, their family also, they might also encounter this thing, maybe asking them to go and take up a government job or a day job, so that maybe in the future they don't have to see clients in the session back to back when they have their own family, because this job is a little bit labor based lah. So what this is still continuously scale up, and I think it slowly changes their perspective because I'm so determined into it. And then the skill set that I learned happened to be able to help my family as well. Like my sibling that work in office, they sometimes have pain here and there, and can guide them in how to train well. And in fact, tomorrow I'm bringing out my parents to the gym, so to actually encourage them to make that a habit to exercise, and exercise partly to reduce their body pain.